Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Here we're going to be going into the second ladder game between Flash and Rich on this particular day, where they did play 3 in a row. Now we're on Citadel here once again. If you saw the previous game, I did have a little problem with what we were seeing from Flash. It felt as if a more standard speed shuttle oriented play could have done very, very well against him. I'm hoping that we see similar build out of Flash, so we can see if Rich tries to make... Because I think Rich might look at that and be like, oh, like, yeah, that would have, speed shuttle would have been good there. Maybe he tries this time. I don't know. I don't know what to really expect, but I would love to see a similar situation with Rich doing something different to see how Flash would react in that case. He could play this more tournament mode where he would randomize his play here, maybe do a factory expansion, something like that, something completely different. We've seen him doing that a little bit on the ladder where he's jumping around in build orders. Sometimes he does a bunch of the same build order in a row, and sometimes he jumps around quite a bit. And both can be really good and really useful. Just a build order rotation obviously is... going to catch people that are trying to counter you, and then if you are doing a bunch of the same thing in a row, it's going to give you a lot of intel as your opponents start hard countering you a bit more. But yeah, this is going to be a factory expansion, so he's doing that jumping around a little bit more. Looking across the map here, it is double pylon before the gas. So yeah, kind of an interesting location right there for that secondary pylon. Not sure what he's looking for there, like maybe to catch a possible drop later or something like that. I mean, he could hide like DT tech or something. I don't think that's what we're going to see, but I don't know. Just hiding a pylon from Flash can be useful as well, or from anyone, really, right? Pylon counting is something that occurs. I feel like it doesn't occur as much as it used to. Like, obviously, it's become so straightforward. The thing is, I remember back when it first happened, when someone was like, you gotta count and make sure they have 3 pylons in their main. That was the thing. Your SCV needed to find 3 pylons, and if they didn't have 3, there was hidden tech. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. It's like when you get in there should be 2. And like the Nexus is probably gonna go up, and if there's 3, you're like, oh, wow, he's playing an old build. Okay. Anyways. The SCV coming through to scout. He actually does not end up doing an end scout here, and instead just kind of turns and goes towards top right. Oops. Keep clicking on the name as I'm trying to check the cybernetics core, but it's not spinning. And Flash sees that probe going out. Woo! That was some bad AI right there. He was spinning out on the egg. Does end up blocking, though. That's a little bit painful, because he was trying to go for a rangeless Nexus, and it should have been up about 20 seconds ago. And instead, Flash really stalls that out. I think Rich made a little bit of a mistake there for sure. He was blocking the SCV and trying to screw it up, and that felt a little bit greedy. If he had literally just right-clicked and made the Nexus, I think he would have had the minerals and it would have gone up. So the Nexus is actually, let's call it 35 seconds later than it should be. 35 seconds is 2.5 probes as well. So, big difference. Anyways, the Vulture coming out. He is making that depot as well. Dragoon coming across the map. It's not going to be able to find any damage because the bunker is going to be up. I think I might have called the bunker a depot a second ago. And a robo on the way here for Rich. So, this is all pretty standard. This is all pretty normal. I imagine we're going to see a mines opener into 2 factory. That's really been what Flash has liked. He has this Vulture go up and check. Okay, there's a Dragoon there. No sense in staying around. There's the mines. And, okay. So he is mixing up what he was doing before, right? So we had a solid stretch of games where all of his builds were 2 factory mine speed, and instead here he's going for mines armory, right? And this has been a very popular build for a long time. A lot of people don't think it's that good right now. I am absolutely amongst them. I was actually talking to Scan recently, and he said that he thinks this build is really weak right now. And I mean, I would agree 100%. It doesn't. It was good during peak 5 factory meta because you got nice upgrades nice and quickly. But right now, it doesn't feel like it does anything for you. And we'll talk about that because we're going to see if it does anything for Flash, right? So he's laying a few mines here. Ooh, eats that mine because he's chasing the vulture. Wow, only Flash would save that and get the mine to hit. Anyways, lays a mine here. He's laying a couple mines here. He sees that. It's like, okay, we have a decent idea what's going on. He's just checking to see if expansions get taken. It's 2-gate observer, it looks like here. Oh, my God. Did he just trap his own probe in there? No, okay. Because he did trap his own probe in the last game. But he's going like 2-gate observer into Stargate. So that's a little bit tricky. And to mention, the build that Flash happens to be doing here, and in fact, now that I'm speaking about it, just seeing the mines upgrade, unless this was a fast drop, then... Okay, so yeah. Unless this is a fast drop, the odds of him scouting the Stargate with any speed whatsoever is very, very low. Oh, wow, and we're actually seeing something else I need to talk about. Oh, my God. There's actually several things happening here, okay? So, basically, mines upgrades. If you go mines first, it has to be a drop to get quick scout, or it could be the Academy build, which, like, almost no one uses. It's very, very rare build to see. It's like an old, antiquated build. One that I happen to use a lot. So going for the quick Stargate is not a terrible idea. I don't think it'll work on Flash, but we'll see. Your comsat is just generally going to be very, very late in the situation. I guess the one other thing that could occur is if they get in C-Robo, they can actually go Armory plus Academy. Okay, so like here he went Armory plus eBay because he didn't have full intel. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention was he went mines into speed. I've only seen, and this was off one factory in Armory, I've only seen this. There was actually this game I saw. Someone played against Snow, and it was one of the lesser Terrans. It was like, I want to say it was like, Noble or something? Wait, isn't Noble Protoss? It was one of these really lesser-known Terrans, and I saw him do it against Snow. I was like, oh, wow, that's actually a good build, where you go mines and speed while going Armory. If they do like a heavy observer-based counterattack, like if they go observer 3-gate goon type thing and try to attack you, it could be really hard to hold. But it was a very cool build. Anyways, Flash has done that here. So he's at like the very edge of greed with this build. He has 2 factories going. He's going for upgrade Terran, right? So he went super greedy with the mines then speed into upgrade Terran. But there's about to be 2 carriers, right? So upgrade Terran is very good against fast carrier if you hit it just right. This will likely turn into like 7 factory 2-1 is my guess, which is a very old build that was actually used as a timing attack against carriers, but it kind of stopped working. Like its win rate fell through the floor at some point. This was back in the area of the map optimizer, if people remember that, the kind of snow map that was kind of like Outsider. Anyways, Flash right now is getting his comp sets, so we're going to check the scans. Whoops, sorry. And there it is. He sees that it's carrier with the first scan. Now we get to see, okay, how are you going to play this? He has 2-1 on the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And does he go 7 factory? Does he go 3rd command center? Turret goes up. Tank's starting to move out. Turret made in a forward position, rather. This is a pretty normal thing to do if you're planning on attacking. Is you make a forward spot so you can quickly move. It's a very good thing to do when you're going to attack soon. Now 2 carriers are out. 2 more are on the way, right? And the thing is, you're not actually afraid of carriers until there's like 6, basically. 4 is very doable. Like, if you have 12 Goliaths, they stop forward dead in their tracks, basically. So this is going to turn into 1 engagement. Like, 99% chance we're going to know exactly who wins after the first time they fight. It's boiling down like that very, very quickly. Okay, so we still don't see a third command center. And right now he's going up to a 6th factory. I was talking about 7 before, but right now just 6 for Flash. Starting to move across the map. A little bit of leapfrog going on. Throws down a secondary turret. Also, by the way, the turret in the center, I haven't seen too many pros do this, but this is actually a very good move against carriers. If you actually secure the center a little bit against carriers, like, basically what you're doing is you're making it so that the carriers, if they want to counterattack, they have to go way around, right? They can't go through the center because you're building turrets, you have your army here. Now, if they start going around, you can unsiege and counterattack, and you're way quicker than them. So this type of setup in the center kind of forces the carriers to move around more slowly and allows you to be the more mobile army in kind of a sense, right? Obviously, flying units are more mobile technically, but the speed with which you can counterattack is very, very high here. So this is actually, I really like this setup from Flash. Notice how he's laying some mines on the sides. He's kind of checking. Notice he's laying mines here. Not because he thinks zealots are going to walk in there. He wants to see if the carriers are starting to fly over. Because if the army starts coming around, this is where you can decide, okay, do I have the army to come up and like maybe flank this or intercept it? Or do I counterattack and try to kill a base? Now, Rich flying down, he has the 4 carriers. He has a pretty sizable army. He actually does not have zealot legs yet. That's important to note. Do we even have the Citadel? We do not have the Citadel. So these are not very strong. This army is not actually that good. He's probably going to need to back up. Looks like he's going to try to target some tanks. Plenty of Goliaths out, though, as you can see. He's got 14 Goliaths, so easily enough to deal with these carriers. Especially with those 2-1 upgrades. I don't know if Flash will start another upgrade. I think he's going to spend all of his gas on Goliaths at this point, but you can start +3 attack. You would on 2 base skip anything else. So he starts to take an engage, and Flash is actually counterattacking. Comes up here, snipes that shuttle immediately. Now, does he have enough to stop this? He's setting up like a very good defensive position. It is a lot of units coming in. If he can pick off these siege tanks, the goons may be able to do something there. In the meantime, Flash getting up on top of this Nexus very, very quickly. Seems like a bit of a base trade. There are enough units here for Rich. I almost feel like this is going to end up working out for Rich. I'm not sure because this Nexus will go down. This one will go down. But Rich is crushing everything, and Flash doesn't have enough units at home. Very strange position. Very strange... Well, there is one thing from Flash that we are definitely going to take a look at here, I think. Yeah, GG is called, so Rich wins with the counterattack. I want to jump back here because I was talking about that central position and how this allows you, if they're moving around the edge, to make the choice of, do you want to counterattack? Or do you want to, like, intercept or flank it or what, right? So he sets this up. But what I saw is something we don't normally see from Flash. I just want to relook at it, right? So he lays these mines because this is the way that you would come with the army. I mean, he does have some over here just in case as well. And honestly, I would like to see one vulture over here laying stuff, but not a big deal. So he comes this way. Okay, so hold on. Sorry, that was obviously me. So we'll go back and look at this. Okay, so the army is coming. Actually, let me just jump it back a little bit more. Now, something I talk about all the time in commentary, whether that's on this channel or in any of my other commentary, GSL, ASL, anything, it doesn't matter, any RTS. I was commentating on Stormgate this past weekend, and I talked about this all the time. You cannot go back and forth with your army. You cannot hem and haw. It is always better to make a decisive decision. Is that overusing decisive decision? Because they're kind of the same root word. But you have to be very decisive, right? So here, watch the army movement, right? He unsieges as he sees this coming. Walks back. Kind of sitting here. Okay, now he decides to go. So he kind of siege. That wasn't super, super, super indecisive. Okay, so this is what I wanted to look at. Because I did see him move the army back. So it wasn't super long, but you need to make a choice and go with it, right? Now let's see what he does here. Looking at this, yeah, it was pretty quick. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is the issue. Here it is, right here. He comes back, starts to engage. Now, maybe here he thinks the army's going to run away, but Rich immediately turns around, and then he turns around and goes. So this is clearly where Rich got the victory, was this little engagement back and forth, right? I think if he had stayed, that's good, or if he had just directly gone, that's okay. Both those can be good. But here it's just like Rich's army is going to be very strong against the lack of defense here, and there's just not a lot you can do against the carriers. They're going to snipe everything that comes out. I guess the only other thing I can mention is there is the tactic of utilizing scans to try to pick off observers. There is an observer in here. Where is that observer? Oh, there it is. Okay, so that is one thing you can do in these types of very weird situations, is if you scan and you pick the observer, then they lose a ton of units going into mines. So that could have been one good tactic for Flash here. It did feel a little bit like hemming and hawing with the army. Maybe he just needed to leave a couple more tanks or something like that. Like, obviously, against what we have here, you need barely anything. Hard choices. Hard choices. Tough game. Okay. It was kind of interesting. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.